Let's get some analysis now on what to expect Monday night. Joining me from across town is Editor-in-Chief of LifeZette, Laura Ingraham, and from Washington, D.C., syndicated columnist Charles Krauthammer. Okay, Laura, you've been here on the ground. You see what's developing. What's your sense of this race?
The momentum seems to be, in my mind, still with Bernie Sanders, although Hillary seems to have shored up some of her support over the last few days, Brett. You get the sense that some of the caution that Iowa voters are known for might be kicking in and helping Hillary a little bit. On the opposite side, here in Des Moines, which is not all that representative, it's a little bit more liberal than obviously other parts of the state. A lot of people were just coming up to me since I arrived, a lot of Rubio supporters, and I'm thinking, is there a possibility that Rubio could do something really surprising in Iowa? I mean, the polls don't really indicate that, at least not so far. But just the kind of the mood, the people's comments, hearing it whether at the airport or around town, he has a lot of support here. I think the Cruz issue today that was brought up by obviously Trump and others have brought it up, the mailer that the Secretary of State is not happy about. I wonder if that will rub people the wrong way in the final hours. We don't know, but he has an amazing operation. The Cruz crew, as we all have heard of them, are ready to go, and they're bringing in the Almighty to help them on this one. They got to win this, they think.
Well, I think there were mailers from the Cruz campaign and the Rubio campaign that are under some controversy. Charles, Let me ask you about, Laura makes a great point about the split of this state. You know, there are a lot of people who are more moderate, perhaps, around Des Moines. Mitt Romney won Polk County overwhelmingly, but when you get out to the eastern part, you get out to some of these other rural areas, it is heavy conservative country that could be ripe for Ted Cruz.
Well, absolutely right, but I think he has suffered now. He's been in decline in the poll numbers and obviously in the support he has. It's been a gradual one, but for about 2 weeks now. And as in the debate, he's taking incoming from every side, and I think that in the end leaves a residue. Yes, he has the best ground game, and that could sustain him. But I do think if you look at the final poll, the Des Moines Register poll, it is amazing how closely it tracks with the real clear politics average of polls. It looks as if, unless there are unknown factors that we have no idea about, there is this spread with Trump at the top, a 5-point lead that could be diminished somewhat by the Cruz ground game. But I think the person to watch is Rubio. He's now been at 15% in that area for a while, essentially stalled, almost waiting. And he's not going to win, I don't think. I think that's very improbable. But if he reaches, say, 20%, he will be seen as the one who exceeded expectations. And given the fact that there are really only 3 candidates in the race right now, that could, I think, make him, going into New Hampshire, formidable. Again, he doesn't have to win, but he has to exceed expectations.
Clearly, Laura, Trump has a lot of momentum here as well. And you look at the turnout to these events, and we've talked for weeks about are they going to materialize. But there seems to be, on the top 2, a lot of focus on Trump and Cruz and splitting up at least the top 2 spots.
Yeah, Brett, he was in the western part of the state today, and they had massive crowds. Yesterday, when he landed with a 757, obviously they call it Trump Force One, a huge crowd, and there is, I feel a little bit about what he's doing here, like George W. Bush in 2000. There's a real fun factor with the Trump campaign. He brings all the 10-year-old kids onto his plane. He said, you can go run around, but no parents are allowed. You don't trust the parents, but you trust the kids, and everybody's laughing. You have this esprit de corps among the Trump supporters that seems to be catching on. And I think a lot of the concern about Trump still out there. Obviously, the establishment doesn't like Trump for various reasons. But there could be a sense of inevitability building, Brett, especially when you look at that new Franklin Pierce poll that just came out in the last few hours, where Trump has now built his lead in New Hampshire to 28 points, or 25 points, the highest he's had in New Hampshire in this poll. And Cruz has fallen. Even in New Hampshire, Kasich is way down as well, and Jeb and Rubio are struggling for number 3. So that's where we are in New Hampshire, and this could be a momentum building for Trump.
Charles, I just have 10 seconds. Do you think electability in the general election plays significantly in this race, in this environment, where anger and authenticity seem to be driving the day?
I think it's probably the least important factor. First, because nobody has any idea whether a Cruz or a Trump or a Rubio would be the best. Probably Rubio on paper, but it's been a crazy year. So that's number one. And the other reason is people are less interested right now in the issue of winning in November than they are of sending a message. And that especially helps Trump.
Charles and Laura, thank you very much. We'll have continuing coverage, obviously, throughout Monday.